Hey, all you cool cats and crazy kittens.
It's not crazy kittens. It's hey, all you cool.
I wanted to
cats
get
and
it
kittens.
wrong, though.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Hey, all you cool cats and crazy
all of that.
kittens.
We're using all
Stop
of that.
saying
We're
no.
using all of
No,
it.
I don't want to use
All
it.
of it's funny.
It's not funny.
You don't know.
Hey, all you cool cats and crazy kittens.
That's not how it goes.
This is Load Bearing Beams, podcast where
We're still
we
married.
talk about movies and relationships with people we're married to.
Can't let a crisis go to waste. So we're back in the saddle. It's been a year. It's been a year to the day, nearly.
Yeah, it's been a year, and even before then, we were very sporadically doing podcasts. Every time I would look at advice for what advice would you give to an aspiring podcaster like me? The first rule was always, well, be consistent and always put it out at the same time every week. Don't be one of those people who begins every podcast with, sorry guys, sorry I haven't done this in a while.
Okay, so let's just
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Hey.
Pandemic gives us a get out of jail free card.
No, just stop
And
talking about it.
I want to.
Go to the place where we're not talking about it.
I'm still going to talk about it
Okay.
in a way. The last time we recorded was less than a year ago. We recorded an episode with Wade and Roberto. Remember we talked about
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead and the Mel Brooks movie, what the History of the World Part 1. And that episode has never come out because
All right. Why are we talking
we
about this though? Is it interesting?
yeah, longtime fans of the show are going to want to know the behind the scenes drama, right? We professional podcasters, we had 4 different microphones on 4 different computers, and 2 of those computers lost the audio. And so and then also depression. Every time I thought about how I hadn't yet worked on the podcast, I got more depressed, and that made me want to avoid the podcast even more.
Yeah, just like the gym.
It's like Lacey always says about the gym.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always say
It's
it.
something you always say. It's one of your famous catchphrases. Is
Did I do that?
is when you join a gym and you're
All
into the
right.
gym for a minute and then you stop, and then your knowledge of having stopped makes everything even worse, makes you more depressed, and then makes you even more aggressively avoid the gym. We're not going to be able to do the podcast if you get frustrated every time I talk.
All of this is gold.
Like, how long do you want the podcast to be? Like 2 minutes?
All of this is gold.
But the point, we've wanted to bring back the podcast for a long time. We never wanted to stop, baby. Because this podcast premise is gold. You get
So much so someone freaking copied it. God damn it.
We'll get to that.
And no, we will not get to. We will not say their name.
No, but I think that there's a subgenre on the internet of like blind spots.
Okay.
Cultural blind spots. I've never seen this giant movie. Now I'll watch it. I don't know anything. Like we were talking the other day
How
about.
are we different, Matt? That's a good intro because we got to say what we are anyway, right? This is Load Bearing Beams, by the way.
I'm like 4 rungs of the ladder down from that part. Watch how I intricately go there.
Okay, weave me a tapestry.
All right. The other day we were talking about our blind spots, and I was like, I'd like just like a safe space to just admit to the world, like I don't know Prince. I don't know Prince's music, or I don't know the Grateful Dead. I don't know Steely Dan.
Most
These are
people
mostly
don't.
just. These are most people. Mostly just. But I'm like a
you're
white guy
like,
who loves rock music,
Oh.
and so it's like a law that I'm supposed to fucking worship Neil Young. But like I don't like Neil
Ew.
Young. I mean, I don't dislike him, but
Yeah, but
don't find him interesting.
not gonna.
And then that kind of made me realize, oh, our podcast is kind of that, but not. Because what all these copycat Johnny Come Lately podcasts, blind spots, that where they explore their blind spots, is they don't have this crucial element. They don't have
married
the love.
bitches. What did you say?
They don't have
love.
the fact that you have to have not seen a movie.
You got to be hanging
In a long time.
your sexy reputation on
Wait a
this.
minute. Not even a long time. You just have to have a little insecurity about it.
You've got to care what the other person thinks about you,
Yes,
and it's got to
true.
it's got to risk a little bit of losing sexy points. There's something you're gonna lose a little bit of your cool cred. And
yeah, maybe
we need
for
to
a year you're like,
stockpile that
wow,
shit now.
Jim is so cool. I can't.
Oh, good old
I'm always
Jim.
scared of the other shoe dropping, but so
Right.
far it hasn't. And then one day Jim's like, I got to show you a movie, baby. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Hey!
And suddenly Jim realizes Dumb and Dumber
is
kind of dumb.
Not his taste. Therefore, what does that say is about his old lady? Let's not call her that.
Is this all making sense?
Okay, great.
I feel like we struggled for years about how to simply explain this podcast.
Every time we try to reduce it, it turns into this.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Basically, a load-bearing beam bears the load. You have a movie that you love.
I hate when you say
it
bears
holds
the
you
load.
Up. It bears your load.
Just picture so much shit in a diaper bearing itself.
That's why I say it.
Oh.
That's why we named that's why the logo of our podcast is a diaper. And you don't want to take out the beam because then the whole
you can't. It's not about you don't want.
crumbles.
It's about it's structurally important to the building. So if this guy or gal doesn't like this movie, you're stuck liking it anyway. What does that do for your dynamic?
And so we do like some exposure therapy. We force ourselves. What are these movies? And let's watch them together.
Right.
Let's
And
watch
do
them
we
with the
even
person
like
we
them
love.
anymore? Because I think I've been turned off of mine and turned on to yours more times than not. And I must say the reverse has not happened, so there might be a pattern.
That's not true. You've picked tons of movies that I ended up really liking.
Tons.
Clueless.
Diaper loads. Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead
You didn't
Fred.
hate it.
Well, no, it was the movie with like the worst reputation. When I watched it, I was like, "What are they talking about? This is good."
Delightful.
It wasn't great, but it's like, "Oh, this is pretty good." Those are two examples.
There you go.
And lots of fucking movies that we end up watching of mine. We're like, "Oh, it's just some boring shit." Like
I feel
Mystic
like you
River.
never agree, but yeah, Mystic River had so much more impact before other movies did it better. Yeah, I think
what?
we discussed it
Oh.
there. Like it wasn't. It's like supposed to be an expose movie, and it just doesn't give you enough. Where like something like Spotlight does it so much better.
Spotlight's based on a real story, though.
Yeah. Am I thinking of the same movie? What's the premise?
It's like
What's
Sean
so
Penn's
mystic
daughter is like,
about-
"There's my daughter in there," and he blames his weird friend Tim Robbins.
His daughter in where?
And it's in Boston, and
Where's his daughter?
she's killed. He's like talking about like
What?
a drain where they found a dead body.
What?
And Sean Penn's like, "Is that my daughter in there?" Because
Okay.
he assumes that his dead daughter is down there, and the cop won't let him in.
Okay, but what's the premise of the fucking movie?
I just said it.
That is a daughter in a drain?
Daughter in a drain. Kevin Bacon, Sean Penn, and Tim Robbins were like friends as a kid, and then one of them got abducted to be molested, and then that was Tim
that's
Robbins.
where I came with the Spotlight thing.
Oh.
I knew there was a through line of
Maybe we should do
molestation.
maybe our podcast should just be describing the premise of movies that we haven't seen in a
excellent.
long time.
Okay, and
There's this really good. Can I say something?
yeah,
I read this play online recently, an unproduced play.
nerd alert.
I don't remember what it's called, but it was like the premise of the play was society has collapsed and like the electricity's gone and everything, and these people are like camping out, and I don't know how long. It's only been a little while after the collapse, and to entertain themselves around a campfire, they just start recapping an episode of The Simpsons.
Okay,
And the episode of The Simpsons was Cape Fear, the episode where it was a Sideshow Bob episode. And so the first act of the play is these people literally just recapping the episode, and it's very entertaining to see them like get little things wrong and mix things up. But on the whole, they remember the beats pretty well. These are like big Simpsons fans. And then the play jumps ahead like 30 years.
Okay.
And it's like their oral tradition has turned into this thing where like these people produce a super warped version of Cape Fear, of a Simpsons episode.
Uh-huh.
And then it jumps like 700 years into the future where a rebuilt society, like this is now its like foundational text.
right.
Anyway.
Oh, that is how oral traditions work.
So load bearing. I'm Matt Stokes.
Hey,
And-
I'm Lacey Roth. We are married.
We're married to each other. We're deeply in love, very attracted to each other, have a lot of fun.
All those things are true, but they make me giggle.
We're applying for an EIDL from the SBA right now.
Don't tell him all the good stuff.
And as we wait, let's start our podcast. Was there anything else I wanted to I have, since you've known me, I've been into the
Occult.
apocalypse, right?
Oh, yeah. Not the occult.
Not the occult, but the apocalypse.
Yep.
That's always
Yes.
been like a...
Who isn't? semi into the apocalypse, though.
But I was always like, it's kind of my thing. I know a lot of like,
thing.
Apocalyptic traditions. I know
there's traditions of apocalypses. Sure. There's literally never happened before an apocalypse.
But apocalyptic worship, rapture anticipation, cults that anticipate the coming of.
You do know a lot about that. I always assume you mean movies. Okay.
Since like for the longest time, I was writing a novel about it. So I was like steeped in this, and I was like really into survivalist literature because I wanted to
okay, but can we just clarify that you've never been into prepping?
Well, what I'm saying is it was like I wanted to write a parody. I wanted to really take it to the survivalists, say like this is absurd, your preparation, your hoarding, your hero complex, thinking that society crumbles and suddenly you're going to be proven right.
You're going hard.
You were so prepared because you were so willing to confront the truth that nobody else was. So I was kind of that guy for a long time, even though I wasn't actually like prepping and buying into all that. There was part of me that kind of like saw the appeal.
Sure.
Because as I was writing this book, or as I was like making
notes,
it's
like playing pretend, and all adults want to. Oh, this will one day be my little home. I'll be so happy that I have all this cornmeal.
I would read. I would go on these websites. I would listen to their podcasts, all to like quote unquote research. But as I was like listening, I'd be like, maybe I should get a deep freezer. Or I guess I could use a shed in the backyard to put stuff in. And what I've realized, even before coronavirus pandemic started, and maybe you can help me understand what brought this on, is I don't really like the apocalypse now. It scares me. It troubles me. I don't want to be thinking about this anymore.
Sure.
And maybe it's because it feels now too real. Is it because we have a special needs child, and I feel personally the apocalypse would come and we'd be fucked?
It's, well, I mean,
but like we'd always be fucked.
Right. Well, and to be fair, so far, if this is a tip of the dick of the apocalypse, we've been better suited for it than most because we've worked from home for 5 years and we have a special needs kid, which means we stay at home.
Yeah.
Bitches. We just, that's our jam. So we social distance the fuck out of that beautiful
social
baby of ours.
Was our norm.
We just, so, I mean, it's like, so thriving. But if it were to force, if there were not electricity, if it made our home different, and if it made things different for Sully, that is when it would be like, everyone take this cyanide pill, we're going night-night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because fuck that.
It's like made me resentful. Like I used to be sort of like like Susan Sarandon said, well, if Donald Trump beats Hillary Clinton, that'll probably be good because it'll bring on the revolution and burn the whole system down. And like 5 years ago, I would have agreed with her. And now I'm like, no, I need the system.
Yeah, we need the system.
Now I resent people who say shit like that.
You borrowed a truck, or no, don't worry about the truck story, but you were in one. And you were alone, you were driving it by yourself, and it was nighttime, and it was cold, and it broke down, and it looked like smoke was coming out of it. So you had to wait for AAA or whatever. Mm-hmm. Pushed back down on the grassy weird shit that's on the interstate, by the tree line, mm-hmm. so that you don't die in the explosion. I mean, it was steam, but you couldn't have told that. Anyway, for safety reasons, you had to get out of the truck and walk away. If you had had our kid with you, he would be dead. There's no way to restrain him on a busy highway. So I'm saying, like, just that.
Expand that out to a global.
Right.
How are we supposed to make our way through the
world? A whole lot of exploding things.
And like the answer probably is like we would survive and we'd be I do believe human beings can adjust to anything.
We just strap them to us.
On the individual and society level.
Yeah.
Like if we just I don't know.
I think we'd stop being the fun parents and we'd have to put him in like a forever baby papoose on us. We just have to get strict. Ew.
Okay. Yeah. No. That's I exhausted just thinking about that.
Okay.
But really, no. I figured it out. It's vulnerability. It's just I feel so much more vulnerable than I used to.
Okay.
I think that's also part of just getting older. Like your parts hurt more. You're like, boy, I am way more mortal than I thought I was.
Oh yeah.
And so the apocalypse loses its appeal.
Again, you're alone in this. It never had an appeal for me. I took Sully on a walk in last summer and felt faint, and I knew right then and there, first one dead. I couldn't even make it around the fucking block.
Well, that's why I said I've always been into the apocalypse. I abandoned that book. I don't think I'm ever going to write it. But I'm just saying. I have a resume of loving apocalyptic movies. Think about the apocalypse. World War Z was probably at the apex, not zenith, the apex of my love for apocalyptic literature. The film World War Z. I've also read the book. The movie is very different. Fans of the book hate the movie, but I loved it. I loved the movie.
Is it the Brad Pitt element?
He's fine.
All right.
But I went to see that movie by myself.
Yeah, you did.
And was just delighted. I thought this movie that I had been following for years because it had so much production trouble because Brad Pitt and the director Mark Forster...
They couldn't get so many people to die? For all the zombies.
Brad Pitt said we need to kill at least 100 more people. The director stubbornly said...
Come on, get into your shit.
Well, then stop saying stuff.
No, I'm an aside. You don't have to fucking dig in with me.
Trying to be a good partner.
But you're not
partner.
when you do that. You elongate the joke and make it unfunny.
This movie had so many production troubles. It reshot for 7 weeks. And its release date got pushed back 6 months. Went way over budget. It seemed like it was going to be a disaster. But then it opens very strongly. It's a very solid and scary movie. Worked really well. I watched it like 3 more times at home and then probably went 5 years without seeing it. Even before the pandemic, I wanted to talk about this movie on the podcast because it was a good recent movie that I loved that you, Lacey, had never seen.
Right.
And that I wondered if I go back, will I like it as much as I used to? And so we did. We watched it. World War Z, a 2013 film directed by Mark Forster, starring Brad Pitt.
How old is that director?
Like 50? 51?
Fine.
The director of World War Z?
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
Don't worry about it. You gave me the wrong age.
Oh. What was your theory?
Well... I don't know if I'm ready to discuss it.
Okay. The movie is based on a Max Brooks novel that was a...
How old's that fucking guy?
Max Brooks, I don't know. He's like a little older. He's Mel Brooks' son.
Son of a bitch. So older than 51.
No, I don't think he's older than 51. I would guess he's in his 40s.
I'll take it.
Why?
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
The book is an oral history of the viral zombie pandemic.
Wait, how can the people who don't like the movie, who love the book, even judge it that way? Because the movie it was just getting started telling the story.
Because they're dumb.
It didn't get...
Well...
It barely got rolling.
You know...
You continue explaining what the book is compared to...
The book purports to be an oral history of the zombie apocalypse and then the global fight to beat back the zombies, win, and then the aftermath. And so...
But it follows several different people, right?
It follows like dozens.
Okay.
Dozens and dozens.
And it's
just short little chapters where the interviewer talks to somebody who then says, well, this is what I did. And then it kind of gives you a chronology understanding. And the book is very good.
Okay, but the movie is literally just following that one character and building it out.
Who's kind of like a composite of several of the stories.
Oh, okay.
With certain references to the book. But on the whole, it's kind of just... It's a zombie movie that borrows the title of a popular zombie novel.
Got it.
I mean, I could see why fans would be mad for that reason, but...
Got it.
This movie does end by Brad Pitt on voiceover saying, like, our fight has just begun. Keep fighting, protect yourselves. And so it's obviously
that is the best
setting
Brad Pitt impression I have
It's setting up this epic series, probably 9 or 10 World War Z movies in total.
Normal.
Never ended up happening.
Right.
This movie, watching it now, I thought, yeah, it's pretty good. Solid, scary, fun. I don't know. I like it. I don't really know why I fell in love with it. I wouldn't say I love it now, but it's a good movie. I think that it has, it's a PG-13 movie, which is rare for zombie movies, which usually are and very gory. This is not a gory movie. Mm-hmm. It leans more on horror. Mark Forster's not a very good director. He's like director of Quantum of Solace and Finding Neverland and a bunch of shitty movies like that. But pretty good action set pieces. I really love the beginning of the movie when they're just stuck in traffic and then suddenly everything goes to shit, because I feel like that's what would really happen.
Exactly.
Things spiral out of control way faster than you can possibly even understand them.
in that situation, sure, I see why that spiraled. And yeah, you're just trying to get your bearings the whole time. But there, I don't know. I'm arguing. I'm confusing both movies. This is why, because we watched Contagion.
We also watched Contagion
to have some other resource material here, and I am totally combining both of them in my head.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Well, the Steven Soderbergh movie Contagion, which so many people are referencing right now as being like the Urtext of Contagion movies, of pandemic movies.
Well, those are the big two.
Yeah. We also watched to sort of have a counterpoint. I don't know. Go ahead. Talk about what your big takeaway is from that, because you seem like you keep wanting to talk about stuff from that movie instead of World War Z. So what is it?
You've really kind of took me by surprise there. I'm just trying to think of what really got okay. So and this is unfair because I now see this was a more aggressive virus that made people have seizures, and just like the shock of seeing someone convulse and instantly die, and how quickly it made people sick. It made it more of a it made it more horror than what's actually happening. You know,
are you talking about Contagion?
I really am. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, compared to COVID, which can have a 2-week incubation period, what was it called? Dev-9, whatever their disease was. It was like you were dead in 2 days.
Uh-huh.
You know, do you agree? Like, it was much faster.
Yes, but sorry.
Why are you disagreeing with me when I'm
No. I'm not.
Right?
Yes, I agree that you would die in 2 days. Is that bad?
What the fuck? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to, oh God. I'm trying to say it's not apples to apples for me to compare what has actually happened in real life to that. So it's easy for me to sit on my high hospital bed and say that I know that movie really got some shit wrong.
Uh-huh.
But there was probably a more intense fear, maybe less time to grapple. I mean, fucking the United States was on it. She was patient zero. So it's not totally a comparison. I like that the president instantly goes underground. He's a non-factor in the entire movie. You don't even know who he is. That's the first thing that happens. The president has been moved underground. It annoyed me the entire time how much people were touching each other, because where was all the good hand washing, don't touch your face, mouth, nose information?
Before all the stay-at-home orders were issued, before everything really went
you don't even see them make stay-at-home.
Sorry, in our reality,
world.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
In our timeline, it was just some Saturday. I put this movie on my iPad and was like, oh, I'll watch that before I take a nap.
But the shit had started.
Yeah, I was aware of coronavirus,
the shelter in place,
but it had not like really exploded here.
Right.
But
we're in Louisiana, guys. It's exploded here.
I did have a ton of anxiety about it.
Sure. Yes, you did.
Do you remember what you said to me?
Yeah. Shut up, Matt. Come on.
Well.
Continue with your fucking story, dude.
I was going to, watch it as, just something to fall asleep to before I took my Saturday afternoon nap.
This is your fucking problem with the inability to sleep, by the way. That's the stupidest idea I've ever
And here's
heard.
the problem with Contagion. You put on Contagion, there's a black screen, and the first thing you hear is a cough. And I heard that cough, and I was like, nope. No way.
Shutting it down.
Yep, and I did.
That's good.
Did you find it difficult to watch? Like, too upsetting? But you don't think it's that...
I did. With her... It's an ensemble cast, and so I guess some of them have to die, but I guess I didn't expect like Gwyneth Paltrow to just fucking die right away. I totally forgot that happened. And then her kid dies, and that bothers me too. So that was hard to look at. But it was, on the whole, it didn't upset me. No.
But,
like, it didn't feel too real. It felt real enough.
It felt very real to me.
Okay. Again, we watched it a week ago.
I know, but with the big difference being the speed at which the virus works, I felt like everything else had a lot of resonance for how we're really experiencing things now.
Something that both movies had in common was the rush on stores and the looting, like just chaos at a grocery store, And I mean, what I don't think either movie could have anticipated. One, I'm wondering if everyone's got a supermarket sweep fantasy, and just like the permission. Have you ever seen that show?
Mm-hmm. Or I know of it.
Great. Just the permission to just like put shit in your basket and just walk out. And you just, this is for my kids.
Which is the scary part of, which is always the
it's
thing that scares me
also kind of
the
the like exciting part. So like it's just like, it's a good, easy way of being like, look at the chaos of food. Yeah. But what I don't think either movie could have predicted are the fact that, for instance, Walmart employees would become super empowered and sassy, just totally putting the foot down. Signs going up, take one only. They catch you with two in your cart. You get the fuck out. They'll take it for you.
But that's if we were right now living in the contagion world and the M1 whatever. Let me play devil's advocate right here.
You'd be a true Satan to me. Go ahead.
And the virus worked so fast that in 2 days you were fucking dead, and everyone was scared. As opposed to now, where you still have people saying like it only affects old people, whatever, it doesn't matter. It only makes people sick who are going to die anyway.
No, you're right. I shouldn't have said anything. Stupid point.
Will you listen to me?
I guess.
Would we then have the kind of pandemonium that's shown in that movie? Where you really think like, all right, everything's about
Matt,
to shut
you know what
down.
I think that we would have now is exactly what is happening now. Is that what you're asking me?
No, if
I think what's going on now is the thing that would happen.
If COVID worked in 2 days and killed way more people, then we wouldn't have the empowered Walmart employees. We would have actual societal collapse. Do you think that is the case or no? Because
it's hard to say.
Well, I go back and forth between thinking people are terrible and nasty, brutish, and short. And
what does short have to do with anything?
And that they're good, and that people will generally just be good and be kind to each other. And
but panicked people who were worried about feeding their kids or themselves or medicine. That is the thing that freaks me out the most about any kind of apocalypse or shutdown. I take 5 different things. I want all 5 of those.
I know. You're so right. That's like when I said earlier about feeling vulnerable. That's just another reason is like I'm so dependent on things. I'm so dependent on having a 30-day supply of these pills that, I need to just function in the world every day.
Right.
Where even skipping a day makes me like
groggy.
Have to shit all day and in a bad mood.
What the fuck?
Sorry. Affects her.
What a hashtag not sponsored.
What's my point?
That you shit all day is all I know. You're the load I bear. That I'm holding up with a beam.
Vulnerability. People do feel like a carte blanche to do anything for their kids.
Yeah.
In all situations. This is for my kid. We tell people not to hoard masks or hand sanitizer, but it's like, but my kid.
What about my kid?
My kid.
In his health. What about that?
We both read that book, Station 11. You remember that book?
Remind me.
It's like I don't remember what kind of. No, it was a novel. I don't remember what kind of end of the world scenario it is, but it's like.
Are they stuck in an airport?
The world ends. Part of the book is stuck. People rebuild civilization at an airport.
Yes,
really cool.
And the first few days, you're following a girl who's getting off of antidepressants, and she's describing how crappy she feels, and so of course I was just like, oh fucking hell.
That is exactly the part I was going to refer to because it's like the book has a way of saying like, and eventually she just disappeared.
Oh.
Without her antidepressants, she just wandered off, apparently to die.
Oh, good.
So yeah, shit like that scares the shit out of me.
Clearly, I remember nothing about anything, and that stuck with me.
Yeah.
So,
but where I get sort of anxious thinking about our current situation is as people talk about flattening the curve, they seem to use it as a synonym for curing the virus and getting back to normal, which is not
nothing
what it means.
Right. It just means give the hospital a break, motherfuckers. Stay home and quit touching shit.
Relieve some of the pressure on them.
Right.
And that even because like all the experts say like this could go on a long time, it's not going to go away until we get a vaccine.
And then the vaccine takes
and what this movie
3 to 6
the last act of the movie shows how a vaccine that has to go to 7 billion people in the world would actually get distributed, how long it would take, what it would look like. And this is like, they make it really simple. You just squirt some shit up your nose. And in this movie, they're making it as fast as they possibly can, but to distribute it to 300 million Americans, you just do a draft lottery.
Right.
Here's everybody born on this day.
So just for
this is when you get this, when you get to take it.
So two things I liked the best about the movie was the lottery system and that you get a bracelet, because of course you get a fucking bracelet. There's got to be some way of knowing someone's gotten the vaccine or they haven't. But how long do we have to wear that aggravating bracelet? And what if we don't have arms?
And how long?
What if you're a kid?
How long before like nostalgia? People who are nostalgic about the time of Corona are going to be like, "This is my bracelet." And they're going to have like
the watermark on Katrina houses.
What is that?
The high watermark on Katrina. You know, the little.
Well, explain that to the.
Oh right. Okay. Well, there's two though. There's a lot after Katrina, and we came home to our houses. People who had water go all the way up their houses, over them, or whatever. You could see where the residue had, like, where the top of the water had settled because dirt would have settled there for a time. And then when it receded, it left a clear indicator of how high the water had gone. So people had put like little plaques or just spray paint or just some kind of indicator on their house to show their high water mark. And then another thing people kept for a really long time, and they're still around, are that like plus sign, or it's just an X basically that the first responders would draw on a door to indicate that that house had already been checked. And in each quadrant that the X makes, there's 4. They would put how many bodies dead, how many people found, I mean pets. Like I don't really actually know the all 4 things, but a lot of people kept that for a little. They're still around. It's just spray paint on a door. Why are we talking? Oh, right.
Oh, because
relics.
People get nostalgia about it. Like I was 17 and then 18 during Katrina, and like I still feel sort of wistful about that time. Nothing bad happened to me or my family, but
and I did lose my stuff, but nothing bad happened to me or my family or my body except my house flooded. But I got a loan, and I bought boobs. And my boyfriend at the time bought a truck.
So,
Hashtag
publicly financed boobs and truck. But the point is, but you can look back on any time of your life, especially at a certain age, and be like, it sucked back then, but what an adventure.
No, it's a badge of honor. It's why people like their cesarean scar.
And
your cesarean scar, Matt.
Yes, I love my cesarean scar. Little Caesars.
Pizza.
But remember, like, the fast food restaurants slowly coming back, and then, like, there's one fast food restaurant in town that's open, and the line of cars is, like, all the way down the street. And they have 2 items on the menu. And
those yard signs, the kind that you see that are just, like, the corrugated little regular square sign that's for, like, political... Like, if you're supporting Hillary Clinton, that shit, that's clearly 4 years ago, and it's in your yard, those kind of signs. That is, for whatever reason, the type of marketing everyone chose after Katrina, and it was just signs that say, we're open with an arrow.
Which they're doing now. I mean, the sign industry is booming right now.
Every
restaurant out there right now.
I don't leave the house. So I leave the house once every 7 days.
Yeah, people, like... there's like people there's a kind of like fashion right now for people who live in East Germany because they're wistful and nostalgic about when they used to be under the Soviet bloc before the wall came down. And it's like, you mean when you lived in that dictatorship, that horrible dictatorship? And they're like, yeah, but it was fun. People in Russia today say like the best time of their country's history was the Soviet Union time. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
You're saying that that's a fact, or are you just saying that? That's a thing?
The Soviet Union? That's polling data shows. People in Russia think that the Soviet Union was
It's hard to pick out what to wear in the morning.
But I know. Fuck.
So, what brown jumpsuit will I wear?
I do kind of like to project ahead and think of how people are going to get nostalgic about right now. I think there's going to be a lot of coronavirus nostalgia.
What I've been trying to think of is what like recreational activity are people going to most look for? Is it a vacation? Is it getting on an airplane to go somewhere?
I keep thinking like, I miss travel. I miss going on planes. I miss going to hotels.
But
not like we do that a lot,
but the excitement of it. Now you
can.
think of an airport and you're like, and it feels terrible and tragic. But I kind of also think like conventions. I think like there's certain conferences professional people go to every year that they're going to be bummed to miss at one time, and it'll be like a big old class reunion when we're allowed to touch again.
Hey, we didn't actually need that conference, did we?
Okay, you're going to make everyone who plans conferences have diarrhea.
Well, me too. But
you don't plan conferences.
I rely on them.
You don't plan them.
I enjoy them. I do some planning.
Your livelihood does not depend on them.
Kind of does.
It does not. All right, continue.
Like TV shows that had like big production budgets, like talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now every producer's gonna be like, "What do you mean? During coronavirus, you just did it from your house. Why do we need this big budget anymore? What does it matter? Why do we need a studio
the live
audience?
studio? Right, just T-shirt cannon them.
Yeah.
What? I'm sick of warming them up anyway. Yeah, I could see that going. Mm-hmm. Or especially like cooking shows that for some reason have a fucking live audience. Anyway, or cooking shows.
Yeah, no, that's never going to die. People are always going to...
I'm not really trying to have a discussion about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So World War Z. The ending of the movie, I'd say the big problem with the movie is that it's disjointed and seems way too much like a video game, which you pointed out. This is like a video game.
Did I?
Yeah, World War Z. Because it just seems like, all right, mission, gotta go into the base.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't say it was a video game. It seemed like a theme park ride. It's like, okay, everybody, you're about to get into the shuttle. I'm not supposed to be doing this, so you've got 10 seconds to get in before my boss finds. I don't know why this is the theme of the ride, but the whole thing just seemed like, now we're going to do this thing.
Yeah. You just stumbled into this presentation, and now we need your help. And then when you get out, thanks, cadets, you did a great job. I did a great job.
All right, well, I didn't even have any formal training.
But yeah, it's like you have a bunch of levels, and then especially the WHO building with the zombies in it. That is very video gamey.
Very.
Because this is, in some points, they're just watching Brad Pitt on a screen, and they're like, don't go there, go there! But it's cool.
How do you feel about the fast zombie?
You know,
why do you think they made that call?
To be different. I don't
sure?
remember if in the book they're fast or not. So
I mean, they're not even. They didn't just make them regular. They made them superhuman fast. So,
which they also did in 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
And I think they did it in the 2004 Dawn of the Dead.
So that's when you're like getting serious.
I think
it's your non-ironic zombie movie. They have to be fast because if they're slow, they're just too funny to. It's too comical to make it a serious zombie movie. Just think about it.
Although there are really, maybe.
Only Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, only the original zombie movies are slow-moving zombies.
Walking Dead.
That's an original. Those are like canon zombie movies, right? Yeah.
I mean, the TV show The Walking Dead
I'm
is on
right
now.
Okay.
Where the horror of zombies is they're so slow, but it doesn't matter.
No, but that's exactly what makes them laughable. So that's why it's so easy to make a comedy zombie movie, or it's an action movie, but it's also funny. That's far more popular, at least in the last 20 years. So what I'm saying is, it had to go the way that it did in that one for it to be like, oh shit.
You're right. Yeah. Now it's for real.
Like the noises, and so they made dinosaur noises instead of their other kind of thing.
You did say like, when did we start watching Jurassic Park?
Right. It was
which that did make me suddenly realize, oh, that's why I love this movie.
Yep.
Because Jurassic Park was like one of my 10 favorite movies, but the whole lab section at the end is just the kitchen sequence from
all
the original Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Damn. But apparently the original ending, which was totally. They brought on Damon Lindelof and Drew Goddard to come on and rewrite the ending, an ending that had already been shot apparently, which was like Brad Pitt and his Mossad agent friend, Reagan.
Sagan. It's not Reagan.
Get caught up into the Russian military's mega campaign against the zombies in Siberia. So the whole ending of the movie took place there, and then it ends with Brad Pitt and Sagan getting on a raft to go back to America.
They had to campaign to be not for zombies.
Yes.
We're not. Oh, you mean like a military campaign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good one.
I wasn't joking.
And then it ends with them like washing up on the shore of America like, all right, time to save Brad Pitt's wife.
Not America. she was in like Cambodia or something.
No, I'm saying the original ending of the movie concluded with Brad Pitt and the Mossad agent washing up on the shores of America saying, time to go save my wife.
And the first thing his wife says is, who the fuck is that?
And so they said, this ending doesn't work. Let's change it. They did. It works slightly better. It's an okay movie. It hits a little too close to home. But, you know, watch it if you want or don't. I don't fucking care. David Fincher, for a long time, was attached to direct a sequel. He loves Brad Pitt. They're very close.
That's sweet.
He was going to make... David Fincher hasn't made a movie since Gone Girl in 2014, which is a damn shame.
He Gone Girl'd himself.
He did. I think he's got something. Although no movies are in development right now.
Like he's got an illness?
No, he's got a movie in development.
Oh, that's a happy thing.
Yes, but like I was saying, not anymore. No movies are in the pipeline, which is
So you think he's going to surprise us with a timely zombie movie?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I was going to say I do find myself a lot of times all the things that I would just look up on the internet to like ease my mind in the middle of the night as I couldn't sleep are not there anymore.
Methods. Okay.
I can't go to ESPN.com. There's nothing there. I can't go to Hollywood Reporter.
That is the strangest
There's nothing
thing.
there.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to read about? So I'm the real tragedy.
Okay.
I'm
not going to argue with you.
You seem like you want to stop.
I'm just getting a lot of fan mail.
Yeah, they love you. All right. Well, that's we'll be back.
The next time.
Next year, 2021. Next pandemic. Okay, bye.
Oh, already?
I mean, Load Bearing Pod on Twitter. Follow us on Insta.
Do I even
follow us on Facebook? And loadbearingbeams.com. And write to us. Let us know what movies you want to talk about. I think we'll talk about Sister Act next.
Oh, yeah,
That's long been in the works. Lacey loves that movie.
I remember liking it very much. I do love a good jukebox musical.
It's one of those.
I don't know. They sing songs from a fucking jukebox.
Okay. You know who directed that movie?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Wait a minute. I might be either Sister Act 1 or Sister Act 2 was directed by the director of Dirty Dancing.
Oh, yeah. You already told me that.
From our very first episode.
Right.
So, there you go. I'm Matt Stokes.
And I'm Lacey Robb.
Telling you to stay safe out there. We'll get you again.
Okay, bye.
3, 4. Everybody, love Mary Keens.